Understanding Options, written by Michael Sincere. And it says here, maximize returns and limit risk, recognize profitable trading opportunities, avoid mistakes that can harm your investment, learn long-term and short-term trading strategies. So we'll review chapter 8 in this video. And it says, because assignment has caused unnecessary anxiety and confusion, the term assignment anxiety explains the phenomenon. When you sell covered calls or uncovered calls, before the stock can be called away, that is assigned, the call buyer must exercise his rights. The buyer does not have to exercise, but has the right to exercise. It is a choice. If any buyer does exercise the call option, and if that exercise notice is assigned to your account, you're required to deliver shares of the stock on which the calls were sold. From the covered call seller's perspective, which is your perspective, the stock you own is taken away from your account and sold at a strike price. You also get paid for selling the stock at the strike price. Okay. If the buyer does decide to exercise the option, the stock transaction is always at the strike price. This is according to the rules of the option contract. In summary, if you could wake up on Monday after the expiration date and discover that the stock on which you sold calls is no longer in your account because it was called away at the strike price, this is because the buyer decided to exercise his or her right to buy the stock. You could always buy back the stock immediately and sell calls on it for the next month. Some people do this every month. It is important to remember that you are obligated to deliver the shares of the stock to the call buyer. You do not have a choice. When you sell any call, you become obligated to sell stock at the strike price, but only when you are assigned an exercise notice. So let's see what happens behind the scenes. When the buyer decides to exercise the option at the strike price, his brokerage firm notifies the options clearing corporation. After the OCC takes over, it randomly selects a brokerage firm with a margin short position in that option. As a result, his stock was sold at the strike price and called away. The transaction took place overnight. It will look like any other sell transaction, except it will have the word assignment next to it. In summary, exercise and assignment are two-part processes. First, the option is exercised. Next, the option seller is assigned. That is, the seller of the call option is assigned an exercise notice, and the stock is sold. You can't have one without the other. It is really that simple, and yet it can sometimes be confusing. Note, if you have any questions, be sure to call your brokerage firm, because each firm have different procedure for notifying you whether you got assigned. Note, remember that you have no control over whether the stock is called away. This is completely up to the buyer. Important note, although your stock can be called away at any time until expiration, it's almost always done on the expiration date, with a few exceptions. So assignment is not something to be feared. If you feel you are selling covered calls, when selling covered calls, you will welcome assignment, because it means your strategy worked. The stock was sold at the strike price. You received a premium, and you sold the stock at the price you thought was acceptable.